The story of Henry VIII and his wives.
A long time ago,
1491 to be exact.
in a land far, far away,
Well, London's not that distant.
a very special child was born. History knows him as Henry VIII. He was a great king, supreme head of the Church of England, musician, composer, poet.
But most importantly, he was an inveterate womanizer. We all know him mainly because he had 6 wives.
It all began with Catherine of Aragon. She was married to Henry's brother, Arthur,
When he died, she immediately fell in love with Henry.
so she married him.
But after 5 years, she had to wait because her lover was only 12 years old.
And they lived happily ever after.
For 18 years. Then they got divorced.
The reason was her inability to give birth to a male heir. Despite the fact that she tried really hard, she gave birth to 6 daughters instead.
To get the divorce, Henry had to become the supreme head of the Church of England. You can see how determined he was.
Catherine of Aragon died of natural causes.
Probably very happy to have gotten out of the picture before beheading became an option.
Henry married his second wife, Anne Boleyn, in hope that she would give him the male heir that he wanted.
Because the gods of fertility apparently hated Henry, she gave birth to another daughter, Elizabeth.
Anne was arrested and executed for adultery and being an overall disliked person at court because of her connections with the religious reformers.
That's when the heads began to roll.
Jane Seymour, his next wife, was probably very happy to give birth to a boy, seeing as the opposite had gotten her predecessor killed.
But she died soon afterwards anyway. Henry was heartbroken, but still a little bit relieved that one took care of herself without his help.
Anne of Cleves and Henry got to know each other on the closest thing medieval people had to Facebook, which is, they only saw the paintings of each other. As you can expect, it didn't end well.
The king was rather disappointed with his new wife's look. He even gave her a nickname, Flanders Mare.
But after their divorce, he changed it to the king's beloved sister.
And didn't mind, and stayed friends with him.
Maybe because he didn't order to have her killed.
His next wife was Catherine Howard, Anne Boleyn's cousin.
Her past affairs enraged Henry and made him wonder maybe he should start trying to actually know things about people he marries.
Research led him to her present affairs, which in turn made him wonder if he should start trying to marry people he won't have to kill in a few weeks.
Catherine was imprisoned in Tower and later beheaded.
As you can see, it's a family thing.
Kacper P was the last of Henry's wives and the one that had survived him. After his death, she went on to marry the man she loved, Thomas Seymour, but who obviously had to step away when the king had proposed her.
He probably looked at Henry in heaven and laughed.
Catherine died 15 months later, after giving birth to Seymour's child, a daughter.
Henry probably looked at him from heaven and laughed.
And thus ends the story of 6 ladies who were in over their heads.
And their husband, Henry VIII, one of the greatest womanizers in history.
Thank you for your attention.